looking like we're going to be in confinement for weeks. We're going to be at least reduced in the amount of social contact that we have in the coming weeks. And that takes a toll on us emotionally as very social beings. It's a multi-part answer, and a lot of it is stuff that we're going to hear over and over again, right? The basics, self-care. How do we take care of ourselves? Care for others that are within our proximity, right? So in our unit that we're confined with. And then how do we use technology really to stay connected outside of our house? So from a social perspective, that's very important. From a physical well-being, it's very important that we are at least eating well, we are exercising as much as possible, we're being active. When we are confined, we really find that we revert back to our worst sort of habits. What we're talking about right now really is anxiety, right? We're talking about having this perpetual fear kind of pumped into our body all day. And in the grand scheme of things, what we're really talking about, what you're hitting on, is the fact that it's really only one piece of our life right now. We are wired to be afraid and to really put the most profoundly scary things at the forefront of our thinking patterns. So it does take a lot of practice and a lot of intentionality in our own individual life to make sure that we put gratitude ahead of ourselves. There are some real advantages to having time, right? A lot of us can look back during our busiest times and say, I wish I was doing X, or if I only had the time, I'd be learning how to do something. We have that time now, and in a lot of ways, we have the platforms to do that from our homes because we have technology available to us. So right now, if it's a hobby, if it is a skill, if it's a language, you could learn right from home. I do think, kind of as a final note, what we do have to be mindful and aware of with ourselves and with our partners is this is also a time where we could fall back into bad habits. So if we were previously treated for depression, anxiety, or something, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe some of those symptoms come back. So I would suggest being proactive with yourself and saying, if I notice these symptoms arising, I have a plan to address them. We do see in times of social isolation, people go back to things like drugs and alcohol, and things of abuse, gambling online. So making sure that you have ways to prevent that from happening and having a plan in place to address that. And then just to reinforce the point of gratitude, I think this is a time now where we have the opportunity to connect with others in a different, albeit meaningful way, maybe even people who we've lost touch with. I myself bought pens and paper so I could start writing letters again, because I haven't done that in years. So, really having a plan for the time will help you in the future. What we have to do is really harness our own resilience and recognize and strategize for what life is going to be like afterwards, right? There's always a vaccine. There is always a medication that comes out. We have to be patient. And that is on us. It's harder if we do have like serious anxiety, right? And that's something that we can work on with our therapists and our friends and everybody else and ourselves. But we do always make it through these things. It just takes patience.